if you're starting a brand new tech company, there's no reason to ever be in Cali. Like,
because the taxes?
The taxes, the restrictions they put on you for your business. I mean, like, that was part of what made Elon leave is like during the pandemic, he wanted to get his workers back to work and they wouldn't let him. They're like, we're going to fine you every day. We're going to shut your factory down. We're going to do this. And Elon's like, dude, let us work. And so I think when you combine California's just very, restrictive nature, plus the taxes, plus with the world going more remote and digital, like, it's starting to lose its appeal as like the beach is nice and the weather's great, but man, how much is it really worth?
Yeah, I mean, I love I've been to San Diego, I've been to LA. I definitely like SoCal. It's a beautiful place. And, I haven't spent a lot of time in Vegas, but I'm here now. I've been to Arizona. It's not the same, but everywhere I go, everyone, they're like, don't start a business in Cali.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to, you brought that up now, and it's like, man, like, what does that mean for California? Because I know a lot of people that watch this channel, are one of our biggest demographic is in California. And
I bet you they're all looking to leave. If you're looking to leave Cali, you're thinking about it. Comment below, because I bet you a big chunk of them are thinking about it. I'll just say, like, from my experience in Cali, I've, some of my employees live in Cali that work remote. And I have 8 properties in Big Bear, California right now, which I Airbnb. And I started buying those properties 4 years ago. And, at the time I was like, dude, I think Big Bear's undervalued. It's pretty cheap for California. It's pretty cheap for, a snow cabin town. Like, I think it's going to go up. And I was right. My first house I bought there, I paid $200,000 for it. Today it's worth about $450. Wow. 4 years later.
Wow.
And it's just that market has gone bonkers. I bought one that I was going to keep. I bought it for $300,000. We were doing a garage conversion, making it square footage. And, the city just popped us for all these permits and all this crap. And it took 2 years to get it complete.
Holy cow.
Just now finished it 2 years later, right? And in any normal world, you would lose money. Like, taking that long to renovate a place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting any rent. You're paying money for taxes and all are expensive with no money coming in.
Yeah, and I got loans on it and everything. Like, I was bleeding money on that house. But guess what? 2 years later, by the time it got done, I looked at the prices and I go, let's just sell it. I listed it for $700,000.
Wow, and you bought it for what?
$300,000.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much we ended up putting into it after all this, maybe like $60,000. But like... Wow. At the time when I bought it, I thought it was worth, probably $450 when it was all fixed up, and it's crazy. But long story short, I've had these rentals for a long time. They were doing great, making great cash flow. Also being a great resource for the city. I'm bringing in tourism. We're paying our taxes. Like, it's great for everybody. But when you're Cali, you don't like great things, apparently. And so what they did was they started restricting Airbnbs. They said, hey,
really?
You can only own, I think it was like one or something. Like, even though I was already grandfathered in, they're like, yeah, from now on, people can only have one Airbnb. And we're going to make the, just all the rules harder. We're going to make check-ins harder. We're going to make the taxes higher. We're going to restrict how many you can own. We're going to make like just everything about running an Airbnb business way harder. And it was the first time where I'm just like, man, is it even worth all this headache to deal with these guys? Like, and if this is just the last couple of years, where's this going?
Yeah.
Do I want to keep owning real estate here? Because it's such a pain.
So what's going to happen to housing prices in Cali?
That's the thing, man. A lot of people were thinking, oh, well, then Cali prices are going to go down. But I mean, I think what happens is you get just different people migrating there from China, from these other things that,
really?
They're like, oh man, like I got to get out of China. This place sucks. Like there's always somebody, people from Cali are like, I got to get out of Cali and go to Vegas. People from China are like, I got to get out of China and go to Cali. So
it's like a funnel. People still going to Cali, but people that are in Cali are leaving.
You're getting a lot of foreigners who are going to Cali.
Interesting.
But you're not getting anybody move from Wyoming to Cali. Nobody's migrating to Cali
from the States.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner, then you're saying stay out of Cali, look into some of these other places where everyone else is moving to, because there's a lot of people moving, demand is coming, And if you want to flip things like houses, there's a lot of opportunity here still.
Yeah, for sure. A ton here still. And the other thing too with Cali, part of that story was the permits. Dude, getting permits and anything done with the city is just such a headache, man, compared to other states.
I've dealt with that before. I made a video on my worst real estate deal ever. This is a property that I bought in the city of Detroit, and they were permitting me or fining me for everything. And what happened was, this is like after the 2008 crash. So like the city went bankrupt, and like they did not have inspectors. And an inspector would come out and they would say, your electrical riser needs to be 13 feet. Like, okay, so then we would make it 13 feet, and they'd fine us for whatever reason. We make it 13 feet. The next inspector would come and say, why is it 13 feet? It needs to be 10 feet. Like the last guy said 13. And so now we had to change it again. And then they would permit us for everything. I mean, they made us pay $100 permit fee to add smoke detectors. They made us pay $100 permit fee to pay for windowsills. They made us, permit fees for everything. If you want to paint the kitchen, we had to pay a permit fee. It made no sense.
Like what is the permit needed? Like we're painting.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I think that's a good point where, especially if you want to be in a business like a side hustle or flipping real estate, like you have to kind of look at the jurisdiction that you're in.
Yeah.
Because different cities are going to have different rules.
Well, with entrepreneurs, right? You want freedom, right? That's why we become entrepreneurs. We don't want to be told what to do.
Right.
And so when Cali's wants to tell you how they want things, it makes it tough. And funny story. So, with an Airbnb permit, every year they got to re-inspect the place, right? So I already had my permits. I've been paying taxes. Well, they go to inspect it on one of my properties, and they're like, hey, this isn't, like, you can't do this anymore, because I had a house and a guest house. And they're like, the guest house was never permitted. And I go, I bought it like this. This is a cabin. Like, some of these houses were built with nothing. Like, they're built by people's hands, like, just with no city. And they're like, yeah, but you can't do it. I go, I've been paying taxes on this for 2-3 years. Like, how are you going to tell me I can't continue to rent this? And like, well, you can't. So they, they
shut your business down, essentially.
They shut down that piece of the property, and that little guest house was making me like $50,000 a year.
What?
So I have not been able to rent that. Another time on one of the other properties was, we were renting it, we're doing the thing, and then all of a sudden, we get the inspector in. They just were making the inspections way more stringent, right? But we end up doing it. They have to come out 3 times because, they come out the first time, they say, hey, fix these things. They come out again, and we fix them all, and they said, oh, well, we missed these 2 things. I'm like, dude.
I've heard that so many times.
Dude, and so then they come out the 3rd time finally, right? And we fix them all. He goes, okay, great, I'm going to sign off. Signs off, right? Well, months later, we get a call or a letter from Big Bear, and they're like, hey, you're renting this without a permit. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, you never passed final inspection. And we're like, dude, we've passed it. The guy came out 3 times, whatever. Like, well, we don't have record of it in the system. And I go,
oh my God.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, he came. Like, here's the text messages. Here's, whatever. And they go, well, you're going to have to appeal the fine. And I go, I'm not paying the fine. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, you can't appeal unless you pay it. And the fine was $8,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And so I had to pay the fine to appeal the fine, which I ended up winning. And during the appeal, they said, hey, yeah, we've been having some issues with like them not documenting the final inspections.
Did you get the $8,000 back?
I got like $6,500 back because they pinged me for
the fees,
something else. I was just like, dude, like, I'm so over this.
If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide that goes over what passive income is, how to start generating passive income, and different passive income strategies. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.